inject me with muscle relaxer, pain medication, and anti-inflammatory. So now I'm getting injections in the muscles in my neck and in my shoulders and in my back. And when they would do it, they would literally put the needle in at least a ½ inch into the muscle to inject the medication. Oh, it was painful. It was so painful. I remember my feet burning. This is so strange, but my feet would burn constantly. It was as though someone was taking a flame and just running it underneath my feet all the time, and I could never get relief from it. And I remember sitting in the bathtub and getting towels really cold with cold water and wrapping them around my feet to try to get my feet to cool off. And I remember not being able to have my feet touch the sheets at night. I'd have to lay my feet off of the bed so that they wouldn't be touching anything, because whenever they would touch a sheet, it would just hurt even more. My skin began to hurt. Anytime someone would touch me, just a touch that gently was excruciatingly painful. Hugs, I didn't even want to be hugged. Don't even touch me because it hurt. Now, just thinking about it, I could cry because I remember the pain. I remember feeling so alone and not really having anyone to even be able to have compassion for me, because nobody could even understand how much pain I was living with. What else? I couldn't wear heels anymore. I had to walk on flat shoes. I had been wearing heels since I was 11 years old. I used to be a model back home in LA, and all I wore were heels. And at that point, I couldn't even wear high heels anymore. I wore these hospital shoes. And so my muscles in my neck and shoulders got so tight that it pulled my spine out of alignment, and it caused 2 discs to rupture in my low back and 3 discs to rupture in my neck. And so at that point, I had shooting pains, shooting down my arms, shooting into my brain, and then shooting down the fronts and the sides of my legs. And the pain was just unbelievable. And what's really strange about all of this is I was 30 years old. This started when I was about 28, and it progressed. But what woman at this age is dealing with this kind of pain? The doctors didn't know what was going on. They had no idea where these symptoms were coming from. They couldn't explain it to me. The only thing they knew to do was give me muscle relaxers, give me pain pills, antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication. And then, of course, if you don't know this already, when you're in constant pain, your blood pressure increases. So now I had to take blood pressure medication on top of all of that. So it just got to be unbearable. Well, at one point, I went to a doctor, and he told me that the way to help the herniated discs in my back was to start this spinal decompression therapy, where they would tie the top of my shoulders and my top part of my body to the top of the table, and my waist and the bottom of my body to the bottom of the table, and then I would lay on the table, and then they would stretch the table, open it up and close it, and open it up and close it. And the whole idea was to stretch my spine to give the discs an opportunity to get oxygen and whatever else they needed to heal themselves. But I gotta tell you, when I started that program, they told me, Miss Brown, we're not going to recommend that you go through your purse and you pull out anything that's not vital, and do not lift anything heavier than 5 pounds. Don't try to go up and down flights of stairs every day. They gave me this long list of all this stuff that they were recommending that I not do. But I didn't have any idea that what that list meant was not these are the things we recommend you don't do. It was these are the things that you won't be able to do. Don't even think about it. And when I started the program, I had just started a new job. I had been on disability for a while, and I had been out of work for over a year. And I started a new job, and then all of a sudden, the treatment came available. And so now I'm on this new job, and I have on these hospital shoes, and I'm walking around the new job like this because I can barely move because of the pain. I'm medicated. It was horrible. The shoes used to squeak. I remember my colleagues at my new job started calling me Squeaky. Can you imagine? Anyway, so it was really horrible. So the doctors, again, had no idea what was going on, and then eventually they figured it out. They said that all these symptoms were consistent with fibromyalgia, and that I needed to go to a rheumatologist and have this test. And the tests. How many tests I took. I remember one test, they wanted to test to see how much nerve damage I had endured. And the way that they did this test is they take needles and they push the needles into different parts of your body, and then they shoot a charge into that area to see how fast your muscle reacts, to see how much your nerves have been impacted. Oh, that test was excruciating, and I had to have it done twice. So anyway, they realized that it was fibromyalgia, that any kind of stress that you endure causes a flare-up. And a flare-up is, let's say I get into a heated discussion with someone, and if I'm under any stress at all, I literally can feel my muscles start to tighten up right in my low back, and it rises all the way up, and it rises all the way up, and it's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter up my back all the way up to my neck, until my neck and my back and my shoulders are literally locked. And the only thing that I can do at that point is lay down, because the pain is excruciating. And when I say lay down, I mean for at least a week, maybe sometimes even 2, because you have to give your body a chance to come out of that. And it's a lot. So I'm sharing the details of this with you because I'm so very grateful that I was called to this assignment. But when God told me that this is where I was headed, I was in the midst of that. I was in the throes of all of that pain and the insomnia and the depression. Oh, the depression. Imagine being in that kind of pain and not having anyone that can really relate to the pain. And so you're often ridiculed, like, oh, you're just making this up, or people don't even get it. I even had a boss tell me, well, isn't that all in your head? And I wanted to punch him because you have no idea what you're saying to me. You're ridiculing the fact that I'm in this kind of pain and I can't do anything about it but take pills. In my mind, that's what I thought. Anyway, so the depression, I remember days and days on end of just wanting to be in a room, in a dark room, and just sleep. I didn't want to be spoken to. Don't ask me for anything. Just leave me alone and let me wallow in this misery by myself. That's how I felt. And, there's no words to really describe depression. It's just darkness. That's just the bottom line, darkness. And I was in that place for a long time. At one point, the doctors were prescribing 120 pain pills a month to me. And I couldn't even keep up with the prescription. They wanted me to take 4 pain pills a day for 30 days. And I couldn't even do that. I would be comatose. I'd be slopping all over the place and, just totally high all the time. And while there were some times when I was in the midst of a flare-up where I had to take a lot of those pills, I'm grateful that I'm standing here today honestly sharing that I never ever developed any kind of addiction to them. And when I got to a point where I realized that I can't live in this darkness, I just stopped taking them. And I never have had any kind of issues with going back to them. If I have a flare-up, I still have pills I can take. I'll take them for the flare-up, but then I'm done with them. I don't have to have them. And I'm just grateful because that's only by the grace of God that I did not get completely and totally addicted to those pills, because they're highly addictive. They're narcotics. So the common denominator in all this, all the symptoms, all the pain, all the stress, all the frustration, everything that I endured all those years was all a result of me not knowing how to love me. It was all a result of me not knowing how to have balance in my life, not knowing how to process my emotions, not taking control of my thoughts, not managing my body, not dealing with and processing things the way that they came to me. There's just so much about the way that we live our lives that if we do it in balance and in harmony, we can manage all these emotions and go to the next level. But without that balance, without filling up, without knowing how to love yourself, that balance is not possible. And so we've got to learn how to live in that balance, live in that place of wholeness so that we can step boldly into the call of our lives. In the midst of all of that, something amazing happened. God told me that I would be standing right here sharing this story with you. And that throughout all the pain that I had to endure, that it was going to be a testimony and a lesson for you so that you would know that if He can bring me through all of that, He can bring you through whatever it is that you're growing through. And I'm not diminishing or, everybody, as far as I'm concerned, pain is pain. My pain might feel like it's greater pain because it's my pain, but it's no different than your pain. Your pain may not look like my pain, but it's still pain. And so I don't want to take anything away from where you are. But the point is that if he can deliver me from the midst of all of that drama, anything can be done. So I'm going to share more about what happened to me on that fateful silent weekend, and while I was in the midst of all of this, that he revealed this assignment to me in the next video. In any case, thank you for hanging in there with me to hear all the drama about the pain that I've endured, and I'm grateful again that I have been called to share this message with you. And I look forward to teaching you a little bit more about what I've learned on my journey towards loving me. So I'm Queenie Brown. Thank you again for joining me today. I look forward to sharing more about my testimony with you. But in the meantime, you can read more about it in my new book, The Self-Love Lessons, 7 Lessons Every Woman Must Learn About Herself and the Power of Womanhood. And in it, I teach you all about how I grew through all of the symptoms that I explained to you today. So grab your book, go to the website, theselflovelessons.com, grab your book and get connected. We have an exclusive book club that's designed specifically for the readers of this book, and it's called the Wisdom Sister Circles. So make sure you get connected to the Wisdom Sister Circles, and also to our private online community where it's our little playground. We can talk about some of the lessons that we've learned, share our testimony. So it's all private, it's not connected to Facebook, so no one has to feel violated by anyone sharing their posts. Thank you so much for joining me today. May God bless you. And until we meet again, I'll be loving me, and I pray that you'll be loving you.